Hi guys, today we're going to have a look at the built-in filters in Moodle 2.4. So I'm going to be jumping backwards and forwards a little bit between the docs on moodle.org and a demo local site, so it's stored on my computer here, of Moodle 2.4. So filters. Filters are plugins in Moodle. There's a bunch of standard ones that you can see in this list here, and basically they take something, they look for something on the page and turn it into something more useful. So I'm going to show you a few examples. I'll show you something called text notation, and we'll talk a little about emoticons, and we're going to have a look at embedding YouTube videos in your course as well. So I won't read these to you. If you are interested, you can pause the video, have a look at this, or you can go to docs.moodle.org /24/en/filters, and you can have a read. So these are the standard ones that come with a Moodle installation. But you might not, if you're a teacher on a course, you may not have access to all of these. They need to be enabled by your Moodle administrator. So this is my demo site. As you can see, I've got 3 of them here which are active. So these are all the standard ones that come with Moodle. I will just point out a couple. There's word censorship there, which you could ask your site admin to turn on. All that does is put a little black box over the top of any, how shall I say, any inappropriate words that your students choose to use on your Moodle site. Word of caution with that: if you're a science teacher teaching reproduction, then it may, well, if you're writing the names of certain bits and pieces, then it will censor those out. But you can, and I'll show you a little bit later, you can disable filters for certain activities or for your course. So I'll show you how to do that. Another useful one, glossary auto-linking. So if you've got a glossary set up in your course, anytime a particular word is used on your course, and if there is a glossary entry for it, it will highlight it with grey, and your students can click on to see the definition of it. So that's quite a cool one to use. But we're going to focus on these 3 that I've got enabled here. So to start off with, we're going to have a look at these top 2, the media plugins and display emoticons as image. So I've got here, this is a page resource which I've already set up on my Moodle course. So this is just an embedded YouTube video, and I've got my I Heart Fish bit at the top there. Let me just jump in and edit the settings. Okay, so this is my page topic that I've set up. So I've got 2 bits here that the filter's working on. This first one is actually embedded now. This is an image. There we go. If you want to manually insert your images, you can do it that way. I actually just typed a shortcut for it, so H in brackets. To embed my video, I just typed out the word fish vids, highlighted it, and I pasted a link to the particular video that I want to embed. So just went to YouTube, found my video, copied it from the main address bar in my browser, and pasted it in. It doesn't matter what text you put there, you can actually just paste in the address of the video if you want. And so the filters work on these 2 things. The first filter, it picks up that brackets H and replaces it with the heart, and this second one, the filter realizes that there's a YouTube video link sitting behind this link here. So I can save it and the video will be automatically embedded as I just showed you. It's worth highlighting that it doesn't have to be a YouTube video to embed in this fashion. If you have a link to an MP3 file, or if you have a link to an MP4 video, the similar kind of thing happens. The filter will recognize that link, recognize that it's a particular type of media, and then embed the appropriate player for that media. So, let me show you another example. This is using the text notation and again the built-in filter. First example here, we've got a mathematical expression, and the second one here we've got formula for glucose. So this is quite handy for chemistry teachers. So if I edit settings on this, you can see what's behind it. If I scroll down, there we go. So double dollar signs and then my little bit of code, and I'll show you in a second. I'll show you some examples of those in a second. And then to get the subscript, it's just that underscore and then the number. So once that's saved, again the filter looks, it realizes you've got the double dollar signs starting and finishing, and then it replaces the bit of code that you've typed in again with an image. So if I just show you a few more examples of those, again back to docs.moodle.org, this time using text notation. There's a huge bunch of examples here. It takes you through and it talks about the different options that you can use. So again, quite useful for a maths teacher. It's also worth pointing out that there is a button in the text editor. Let me just pop back edit settings. There is a button in the text editor that you can use for inserting equations, this one here, but you need to have a browser that works with Java, and I'm on OS X with Chrome and it doesn't work basically. So that's why you can use the little bit of text code instead to get the same thing happening. Now I mentioned earlier also that the filters can be enabled and disabled in different contexts. So let me just jump to these. Let me go into my course so you can see what I'm doing. Settings block here, we've got filters. So I can choose which of those 3 filters I want to enable for my course. So I'd suggest, most of the time you should have these filters on. But you can also go into an individual activity and turn the filters off as well. If I go into this, if I just save this, my text example, and jump into the filters here. So this is actually now my page resource. So if I click on filters here, so I can actually if I turn that one off, save changes, and if I go to that resource, there we go, it doesn't work anymore. So you can choose, as a teacher, you can choose whether or not to enable these filters for your site or for individual activities. So why might you want to do that? Well, if you have a quiz or something like that, asking for definitions of words, then you wouldn't want it to automatically link to glossary to glossary entries, for example. Or if you have a load of different links to YouTube videos, you might not want them all embedded in one big long page. You might just want to show the links instead. So there's reasons. Back to my example, science teacher teaching reproduction. If your site uses where are we again? Let me show you. If your site uses the word censorship filter, which can be customized and configured for different words. You can add your own your own rude words to it if you wish. Yeah, again, for a particular activity or for a particular resource, the teacher can choose to disable that filter for those particular contexts. So there we go, a little bit about filters in Moodle 2.4. These are just the standard ones again. There's a load of other filters that your admin can download from Moodle.org, and they can add them to your course to do other cool things. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Hopefully you found that useful.